Hello everyone, myself I am Sharanya, working as an assistant professor in MLR Institute of Technology in the Department of AI/ML. Today I am going to discuss about the topics of digital signature and authentication protocol services. So in the overview, what is digital signature and what is its key features and what is meant by authentication protocol and its types. So coming to the first topic of the digital signature process. So in digital signature, it is one of the type of the mathematic, so used to authenticity and also the integrity of a message, whether it be software or any digital documents. So while we are doing any digital signatures of the process, so we need to validate any of the authenticity or any integrity of the part of the any it is in messages or any software or digital documents. We need to check all the whole of these formats. So there are some of the key features of it. So what are those? There are key generation algorithms of three types. So the digital signatures are electronic signatures. So what the message will be going to send by the particular sender and the particular receiver. So while performing digital transactions, authenticity and integrity should be must and should assured. Otherwise, the data can be altered. If it is not secure, it should be and data could be altered. So the first type of the key generation algorithms are signing algorithms. The signing algorithms means like email programs. So it will create one-way hash of the electronic data. So while we are creating any digital signatures formats like email programs, or we are going to create any one of the one-way hash of the electronic data. So the signing algorithm that must encrypts the hash value h equals to 1, 2, 3 and so on up to n-1. So it should be and using the private key, means we need to lock with the private key, means no one can see our algorithms or any of the information or any of the data, means we need to keep our information very secure process. The digital signature is also appended with the data and sent to the verifier. So after it will be appended, it is sent to the verifier whether it is correct or wrong. Then the reason for main encrypting the hash instead of entire message, it will convert any arbitrary input to one shorter fixed length value. So after completing of the whole entire message or the document, it going to be convert of any of the output of the fixed length values. For example, 50, 60, 70, like that 100, 120, 140, 160 and 180. So it will get an one of the fixed length of the values like that of the hash function. The next one is signature verification algorithms. Signature verification algorithms contains of along with the data, means it receives the verifier a digital signature. The digital signature will also verifies along with the data. Then it uses an verification process, digital signature and the public key. So to run this process of this algorithm, they are using the digital signature and also the public key, and finally they are going to generate any of the output of the some value. So for this also they are going to apply with the same hash function of the received data and it generates the hash value. So already we have previously discussed the signing algorithm is also encrypting the format and they are going to send one of the particular output of the hash value with the private key. But in signature verification algorithm, it also applies the same hash function on the receiver data, so and it generates the hash value. For example, if they are both are equal, then digital signature is valid or else it will be an invalid. If it is both on the equal of the verification process, the digital signature will be a valid. If it is wrong, it should be an invalid format. That is the digital signature process. The next one is authentication protocols. So basically we know the authentication protocols are the methods. So basically we will see an user or the device or any other systems to identify. So the methods or any procedures used to identify of a user or device or any other systems. So basically, to ensure that only authorized users or devices to only access to be able protected resources to prevent unauthorized access. So authentication protocols is nothing but we need to use to verify the identifier of a user, device or a system to make ensure that only authorized users or the services will be able to access only protected resources. Means any data or any information should be only valuable to the authorized users only. It should not prevent unauthorized access. So there are the types of the authentication protocol. First one is password based authentication, next one is two-factor authentication, and next one is biometric authentication. The first one is password based authentication. So password based authentication, which will use it provides some of the usernames or passwords like that to log in into a system or to access a protected resources formats. So too simple to implement and it can be vulnerable to attacks such as dictionary attacks and the brute force attacks. So brute force attacks is nothing but it is a trial and error method until the hacker will get the password. He is going to try number of times until he will get the password. The dictionary attacks means it will give some of the dictionary words of this attack to get the password. Means they are also trying, it is also one type of hacker. They are going to try keeping of the dictionary letters to hack the messages. That is the dictionary attacks and the brute force attacks. Means number of times they are going to try with the words. Dictionary means words and brute force is nothing but a trial and error method. The next one is two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication means will the user provide two forms of identification, means such as the password or any security tokens to log into protection system or any in the laptops like that. They are going to protect the resources. This two-factor authentication also can provide the additional layer of the security, but it may be inconvenient for the users and may also require additional infrastructure to support. Means they are also need to get some more additional infrastructures to support this all the processes which are logging into the system or over to a protected resources. It also conveys two form of identification, nothing but password and the security tokens. While we are using the laptops or any systems, we are going to hide our information and we are keeping the number of passwords. Like that, the two-factor authentication will be used. The next one is biometric authentication. So biometric authentication is also nothing but while we are using any of the physical or the behavioral characteristics, means like that fingerprints or facial recognitions to identify particular user. While for example, while we are using the mobiles in the formats of we are keeping the such type of fingerprints and we are keeping of the face recognitions of different multiple times for the WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. For all this, we are going to secure by keeping the biometric authentication. There is one type of authentication protocol also. So it can be highly secure, but it may be expensive to implement and may not work well for all the users. Means due to the physical characteristics, sometimes it should not be work for the hacker. So in this biometric authentication and the authentication protocol, there are some of the most common authentication protocols are 5 types: Kerberos, LDAP, authorization 2 of the version 2, SAML and Radius. These are the most common authentication protocols. Let us see one by one of these 5 types. First one is Kerberos. So Kerberos is also one type of authentication protocol. So basically it is used to securely identify users on the devices on the network. So basically it designs to the airdropping and the replay attacks. So while they are securing access to the network resources without any transmitting their passwords over a network, means that is called as an Kerberos. Means basically to secure the identify users and devices on a network. That is the main task of the Kerberos. The next one, LADP. LADP is nothing but a lightweight directory access protocol. It is nothing but to manage directory services that has open LDPA, or it should be a very simple, fast and secure protocol for accessing directories. So overall in the network, should be a very simple and fast. That is the lightweight directory access protocol. So it mainly manages directory services. The next, open authorization 2 version. So the 2 version is nothing but stands for the authorization process, means for the mainly of third party applications. So single party or the second party, not that the sender and the receiver, who is going to be coming of the third party application, should be access to their resources, means like data or any other services, without sharing their passwords. So this authentication 2 version is used to enable secure authorization from either web, mobile and desktop applications. These are the 3 of the Open Authorization 2.0. That is the basic of authorization from web, mobile and desktop applications. The next one is SAML, Security Assertion Markup Language. So what is the main task of this Security Assertion Markup Language is nothing but it should be exchange of authentication and authorization data between the organizations. Authentication and authorization data between the organizations. So basically it enables on single sign-on the processes, so to secure the web-based resources. The next one is Radius. The Radius is nothing but a Daily Services method, that is remote authentication Daily user services. So basically they are used to manage and authenticate users who connect to a particular to the network. For that process only they are going to use any manageable and authenticated users only. So it basically commonly used to authenticate users who connect to a network using a dial-up connection process, means such as wireless or the virtual private network process. Both the wireless and the VPN only, either the wireless or the VPN process only should communicate with the remote authentication daily user services process by using a dial-up connection method. These are the 5 techniques of authentication protocols. So basically authentication protocols will be divided as 3 methods, that is password based authentication and 2-factor authentication and biometric authentication. The next, the most common authentication protocols is also will be on different types, that is Kerberos, LDPA lightweight directory access protocol and open authorization 2.0 and security markup languages, and also the Radius methods, means remote authentication daily user services methods also available in the some of the application process. So in today's session, we have discussed with the digital signature process, and those are the types, and also the authentication protocol and its types. In the next session, we are going to discuss with the topic of digital signature standards.